Hello and welcome to Media Week. I'm Ingrid Willinge, and as always we're joined by our co-host, editor and publisher of Media Week, James Manning. First up today though, a change that could alter the way media agencies plan out-of-home ad campaigns. The Ipsos-owned Emma, otherwise known as Enhanced Media Metrics Australia, will integrate Move out-of-home audience measurement data from 2016. It's been a pretty hot sector over the past year, so for more on what this integration means for the outdoor industry next year, we're joined by Simon Wake, Ipsos Media CT MD, in the studio with us. Simon, good afternoon to you. Thanks for joining us on the show.
Thanks, Ingrid. Hi, James.
So tell us a bit, starting off, about Ipsos, what exactly it's all about, and your audience measurement product, Emma.
Sure. Well, Ipsos is a global market research firm. We're a French business. We operate in about 87 countries, and one of our areas of specialisation is audience research. In a lot of markets we measure, say, TV or radio or print audiences, and in Australia we've produced a service called Emma, and that's been funded by the newspaper publishers in Australia, and that's to measure their printed titles, so the readership audiences of those newspapers, but also look at all media, because the publishers funded this service to, I guess, assist media agencies plan across all media channels. So the service covers newspapers, but it also covers radio audiences, outdoor, TV, digital, across all channels.
Yeah, so what you're doing with outdoor is different to what you do with the print, right? You actually do the research on those audiences?
Yeah, that's right.
Print, for newspapers, for magazines, for those publishers. In this case, with outdoor, you'll be taking their existing audience data, yeah? Yeah,
that's right. So the outdoor sector have built their own audience measurement system called Move, which stands for Measurement of Outdoor Visibility and Exposure. That currently sits in isolation, so media agencies and planners can look at outdoor audiences in isolation. What we're doing is we're bringing those currency measures of outdoor exposure into Emma, which is a whole of media planning system. So then, for the first time in the Australian market, agencies can plan across print, outdoor, TV, using those official currency measures of outdoor exposure.
So what does that mean for media agencies who use Emma, particularly given the fact that the out-of-home sector has been so hot recently in increasing revenues?
Yeah. Well, look, outdoor has grown significantly over the last couple of years. I think last year revenues were up 10% year on year. That's because, you know, outdoor audiences, there's no structural pressure on outdoor audiences. People are still out and about. You know, there's no fragmentation of the audience. The outdoor sector are also moving into digital platforms, so they can offer time of day placements, increasing their yields, and there's more interaction with mobile platforms as well. The other big thing that the outdoor sector have done is invested in data. So this is what they're doing here. They're investing in data to provide that, I guess, that ability and transparency to agencies to look at their audiences against other media channels.
So this is a win for, I guess, Emma, because it makes it a bit more of a robust product, gives you some more reach, and it's also a win for outdoor because it brings them into the fold, I guess. Is there anything else that you could bolt on to Emma to make it better in the future? Or?
Sure. Look, that's been one of our focuses over the last 12 months. Emma is not just a consumer survey, it's really a consumer data platform is how we kind of picture it. We bolt on lots of other data onto Emma to make it a more holistic view of, it could be consumer spending patterns, it could be a particular data that we've fused on that might be proprietary to Ipsos. So, for example, we've fused on a lot of data around health insurance and how consumers buy health insurance and which consumers are looking to switch. So agencies can use that data to target certain consumer groups.
And, you know, when you look at someone like Nielsen, you obviously have links with them, but are they a competitor and a partner at the same time?
Yeah, they're a competitor and a partner. We do fuse in their digital data into Emma, so the publishers are obviously keen on that because a lot of their audience growth now is obviously happening in the digital space. Nielsen already work quite closely with the publishers, so that data is fused in, and we're a partner with Nielsen on that.
Makes for an interesting relationship.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, this stuff's all pretty critical, isn't it? Because it's what drives the ad spend. It's, you know, it's was it $12, $13 billion media ad spend, something like that in Australia?
Sure.
Isn't it?
Obviously, data is highly important these days to advertising spending, particularly in the programmatic space.
We've seen some figures this week about the sort of increase. This year, I think Zenith Optimedia talked about a 2.9 maybe, which would make this the best increased year on year for the last 5 years, almost since the GFC. Do you have any feeling about the sort of market when you do all this research, or do you just pretty much do the numbers and you don't get much?
Yeah, look, our focus is more on the audiences. We don't measure the advertising spend so much here in the Australian market. Nielsen do. But yeah, obviously there's some growth, and a lot of that is fuelled obviously by digital and by outdoor as well.
How accepting has the media sector been of Emma so far? I mean, people still seem to use Roy Morgan readership data too. Do your customers sometimes buy both at the same time?
Quite often they buy both. I mean, this is, I guess, a change management process for us. We saw this as a long-term investment in Emma, and the focus for us is really to innovate and to do deals, I guess, like we have done with the OMA, where we can improve the quality of the data and the breadth of the data that we provide and make the tool more user-friendly for agency users.
You said Ipsos was something like 80-something countries around the world. Do they have products elsewhere that aren't in Australia that you can see, offering here or building here in the future?
Oh, we have a broad breadth of products across the Ipsos group. I mean, we do have produced a very unique measure of outdoor exposure in the UK, for example. Look, a lot of our products might be specific to certain markets, but across the Ipsos product suite, most of those are offered here in the Australian market as well.
There's things like, TV audience research. I mean, do you get into that space at all? And
yeah, in fact, we do. We have a product called Mediacell, which passively measures TV audiences and TV consumption. That's active in some of the Scandinavian markets, and that's being tested all around the world actually right now.
Yeah, because that's so is that something we could see here? And is it different to the sort of audience research Nielsen does for OzTam, or is it?
Look, it's a slightly different.
Can it be a competitor, or?
Yeah, it can be. It's a slightly different technology because it's tablet based. Nielsen have a people meter, which is a different type of technology. But yes, it is a competitor to their product globally.
And what about, we've seen radio try to go with their audience research. They nearly went to sort of electronic meters and they pulled back and didn't do, they still do the diary-based system.
Yeah.
Does Ipsos play in that space anywhere in the
Yeah, look,
world?
as I said, we do it all around the world, and there's various methodologies in different markets. So we have diary-based methods in some markets and we have these passive measures in other markets. It depends on how mature the industry is and how willing they are to make a shift to a new type of form of measurement.
All right. Simon, we'll have to leave it there, but really appreciate your time on the show today. Thanks for coming on. Simon Wake there, Ipsos at Media CT MT in the studio with us. Well, over to other news now, and Tabcorp has signed a 10-year deal with the UK division of News Corp to set up an online bookmaker linked to the Sun tabloid. Sun Bets will launch in 2016 into an online gambling market worth about $7 billion, with News UK promoting the business in exchange for a slice of the revenue. Well, for more on that and a check on the share market performance of media stocks this week, Evan Lucas joins us now from IG. Evan, good afternoon to you. So what does this deal with Tabcorp mean for News Corp?
Look, it's actually quite an interesting sort of tie-up here. It's a full space that hasn't actually really been seen on the media side to actually obviously start integrating products outside of what they specialise into it. The fact that they're also going to move it into their specialisation products of sport and also leisure is an interesting one. The fact that you are now going to be given through the Sun and also through some of their online publications access through their football sort of programming that they have, where you do fantasy football, to actually do that as well is a real integration and a product that they don't normally see. It does have incredible viewership numbers of around about 10 million readers a week and about 1 million players a week on their associated sports. So it is a very big step forward in that direction, one that News Corp obviously sees great value in. It is a fragmented market, though, be aware of that. We know very clearly that online bookmaking in the UK is very strong, and also the competition on the media side is very strong. But certainly looks like a very advantageous deal on both sides of the equation.
And Evan, we're seeing further suggestions, of course, of the scrapping of the reach rule this week. That's obviously been in focus. There was some suggestion it would be done this year, but it's looking unlikely now. So how soon could this happen?
It is very unlikely this year, obviously, now that Parliament has stood up. Mitch Fifield is obviously running around meeting all the radio and TV execs. It's been a big talking point, considering that the share price performance in the last month alone of the media space has been very, very poor, down around about 10.2%. And they are very much out there screaming for consolidation. And that's why the reach rule is very much out there in front of mind. I have said before that I am a little bit concerned that there's just not going to be time for them to do this. We've got the May budget next year, and then sometime in 2016 will be the next next general election, and that may get in the way again of whether or not the reach rule can actually be scrapped. But clearly the market is calling out for it, and clearly the executives are will. So let's watch Mitch Fifield in 2016 and if he can actually get some form of legislation through on that sort of front.
Yeah, we'll be watching the media stocks closely as well. Evan Lucas, really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Evan Lucas from IG there. Well, time for a quick break, but coming up next on Media Week, why 2015 might have been the best year for ad spend in 5 years. Zenith Optomedia's forecasts next.